We're going to have some fun today. Oh, yes, we are. We're going to practice our cards a little, but I do have a few channeled notes. How's everybody doing? Everybody loving this like weather? You loving all the weather? The big change to fall and summer weather? Are you loving all that change of weather wherever you're at on wherever the side of the globe that you're on? And everybody having fun? We're going to practice our cards. This is the box of the cards. Isn't it beautiful? I am Celeste, also known as Joanna. I prefer Celeste. Isn't that gorgeous? So these are the cards that we've been practicing on. We're going to do a couple more sacred triangles, and we're gonna practice our being advanced awesomeness. This is there's little messages on the inside of the box. Do you see that? It says manifest your. I have my glasses on, so I have no idea what it says. Manifest your most magical star-aligned life. Oh my God, isn't that nice? Aww. Aww. And so I've got some show and share things today. We're going to do a show and share, and then we're going to channel the celestials. I already see the children coming into their little classroom on the celestial ships. And so they're going to be with us today. They're going to, I love you, children. I love you, children. I love you, children. They're taking these classes as we are. Right? Isn't that wonderful? And they're gonna provide to us any of the connections and the of obviously the timelines that we are with them. So I'm really happy. So thank you, children, for joining us. And all of the celestials that are on board as we're kind of harmonizing these two worlds in the Galactic Federation and the celestial omnipresent universal space that's in our space. It feels really awesome, doesn't it, that we're kind of connecting with our star brethren and our star children and our more unified family, and they're assisting us in becoming more open in our universal discussions about who we are as multiverse beings, physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually, spiritually, metaphysically, biophysically, quantumly, all of these things that we've never considered ourselves are, but we're going to talk about it in every way because it's how we transcend old church and state understandings about who we are as just a sack of bones and skin that are walking around in various religious beliefs. And we're far more than that. We are connected with God and Source Creator in every moment, in every way. And what I've been, in every day that I'm coming forward to do my work and to do what is devoted within me is to be the highest version of who I am and share it forward in the 3 E's. So very happy to do so, and so very happy that Mother, Father have provided me this opportunity to become the best version of me and try things that has never been tried before in divine feminine human form upon a planet that has just going through the most profound ascension. But to also bring it forward on behalf of the Galactic Federations that I serve on behalf of and the systems of light. So I'm very grateful, and I'm so grateful for all the beings that assist me in my healing. So very grateful for all of those beings. And yeah, so we wanted to just do a quick fun show and share because I always like to show things, and we talk about nature and different things, and we talk about health and becoming like awesome. Becoming health and awesome. Just let me get there it is. Hi, I'm back. Hi. We're just gonna have a little bit of a show and share. Hi, everybody. Hi. We're gonna have a little show and share. We're gonna do a practicing of our cards today, and then I do have a tiny bit of channeled notes from Commander Ashtar and my teams and Mother and Father. So, and then the children, as I said earlier, the children are already getting in their celestial seats wherever they are in our galaxy, and they're loving that we're doing these classes with them, and they're aware, and you're aware that we're all together in this universe experience. So it's really important that we always bring in our celestial galactic families and who we're with on the other side of the veil that we're always with. We're always with these beings. Our spirit never separates. You know, our spirit is always with life. Our spirit is with the celestial and the alien life. Our spirit is always with Source Creator. If we want to take a magical experience to the other side of the universe, then Source is always with us in that creation. Source wants us to explore. There's nothing that makes Source more happier than exploring, right? So I wanted just to share a couple of things. Now, this is the very best toothpaste that I've ever had. I don't get paid for any of these products, but I'm just sharing it. This is you'll find this toothpaste in the holistic department of your grocery store. It's Arm & Hammer, and it is the extreme white. Now, I've tried a lot of the, because, you know, we like to have our teeth nice and beautiful and white. I've tried most of the white toothpaste. And way back in the day, way back in my 20s, I think I tried those strips even a couple of times. But this toothpaste I've been using ever since that I've tried all of the other whitening toothpaste, and this one is really the best. I'm very particular, kind of OCD about a certain few products. Some of them are my mascara. I'm pretty OCD about my mascara, what brand I used. And then toothpaste. Now this toothpaste you'll find in the holistic because it doesn't have the chemicals and the metals that the other toothpastes do. And so it's really important that we take care of our teeth because our teeth are directly related to and all the things that happen within our mouth, because I know some of my clients have talked to me so often about the problems they have with their mouth. And when you're going through activations with your throat chakra, usually you're going to have a lot of things happen with the mouth and the gums. And you're going to find a lot of things like abscess teeth. Those are things that help clear away the blockages in your throat chakra. So it's really good to take care of your teeth. And many years ago, if you see, I had all of my metal fillings taken out and I had porcelain ones put on. And so it's also a good idea to have the porcelain because it's not the metal. So as much metal as you can take out of your mouth and your body is best for energy as your energy is shifting and raising to a higher omnipresent frequency. So we want to start taking out of those metal constructs of our body and our physicality. And so just ask your dentist if you have metal fillings, you know. You can get them taken out, and when you get the porcelain ones in, of course, it looks a lot nicer because you don't see all the black holes and stuff, right? And then if you wanted to try a good natural toothpaste, this is what I find. I find this to be even better than the other whiteners that are on the market. And so now this tube, I think regular price is like $7.99, but it is the biggest tube. But you can get these on sale once a month at I think like $3.99. So I always, and you can get them at London Drugs and Shoppers Drug Mart and your grocery store, but it's in usually the holistic department, or it's in the kind of the pharmacy side of your you know, your grocery store. And so if you wanted to try this as your super whitener, it's really, really good. I've really found this toothpaste to be the best, so I always go back to it. And then it's even better if you can get it on sale, right? $3 for a huge tube. Because I think toothpaste right now, I was surprised, because I was pricing out all the other toothpaste. Toothpaste are like $9 a tube. And that's really ridiculous. Who wants to pay $9 for a tube of toothpaste, especially when a lot of them are metals? It's not good for it's not good for you at all. So really try the natural toothpaste. I'm offering that as a little interruption. We're back. Hopefully that's going to keep running. Yeah, it's keeping running. And so what my teams had told me many years ago is to take the metal out of my teeth, especially if I'm channeling, because usually depending on, again, your soul's blueprint, if you're part of your destiny is to do a lot of orating and speaking and channeling, a lot of your energy, of your God energy and the source energy and the Christ consciousness is going to flow through your teeth, through your mouth. And so a lot of the throat chakra energies and all that you're going to be healing and all of those experiences are going to come up. And so you might have, when you're going through a lot of clearings and when you're clearing out that throat chakra, if you have a lot of, you know, blueprint energy in your soul's blueprint with orating. But most people have to do a lot of throat chakra clearing anyways because we've been so suppressed. That just gives you some ideas about some of the things you'll go through. We're going to talk about ascension symptoms. And some of those ascension symptoms are when you're clearing out a lot of the throat chakra energy. It is also related to the sacral energy. So usually these two energies are cleared at the same time because you're wanting to ensure that you're speaking the highest creativity, because spirit is all about creativity, right? Inspiration. It's always about creating from the creator, the representation of the creator. And so your voice and your sacral is very connected. So as you're doing a lot of your sexual healing, your sexual clearing, that will also affect your throat chakra. So then again, that's why you're going to then have those joined perspectives of your healing potential to speak a lot about the traumas, speak a lot about how you're healing your sexual traumas, speak a lot about, you know, what you've learned in your sexual traumas, and really have within your healing that same juxtaposition of equality, you know, that as you're releasing the dark energies, you can create that transmutation quite quite naturally, by as you're releasing all the darker energies and the karmic patterns and the karmic beliefs and the karmic experiences, you're neutralizing it within, I can make something out of this, and you're building a bridge of positive resolve. And that's how you entrain your higher vibrational state of being. You're building a new higher set of consciousness. And I put some really great videos of survivors from trafficking on my clearing and your own healing. We want to make sure that everything can be neutralized within the heart center of you are. That's the diamond right here is your divine sacred heart, the DSH, which I write on all my illustrations. And it is the diamond that is, again, the Merkaba, right? It's the higher star, or the higher triangle coming to the lower triangle, which creates that Merkaba. And then as it's toroidal, as your energies increase and your cells increase, you'll feel those toroidals when you're meditating. That means that everything is starting to align. So these are very biophysical experiences, quantum experiences that you can experience as you're moving along your path in the ascension. That's why you can feel that spirit is the only quickener, because when you start working with spirit and harmonizing with spirit, you do feel these physical changes. You're given physical information from downloads from your teams. You're given physical helps. Helpful things that you can do, like changing your toothpaste, taking the metal out of your mouth, to assist with all the things that your body is trying to do to create its higher frequency. And there's little tiny things that you can change that assist in the frequency that your body is amplifying at, and it wants to amplify at. And another way that we can amplify the frequency of our body, I brought a few show and share items, is flowers. Now maybe Cluedo, because Cluedo is a beautiful gardener. Cluedo can write the names of these flowers. Aren't they gorgeous? But I wanted to note the sacred geometry and the perfection all of these flowers have within one another. And they can have probably, over 100, a couple hundred petals just on the one of the flowers. But yellow is one of my favorite colors. Isn't that gorgeous? Just going right to your solar plexus and healing your solar plexus. And the beautiful sacred geometry. Isn't that gorgeous? And the essence and the smell. This is gorgeous. And it's so soft. So allow yourself, because when you are going to be enhancing who you are as a multi-vibrational, multi-dimensional being, it's really important that you give yourself the natural essences of the vibrations in your natural reality. So what is the vibration when you touch the flower? And when you smell the flower, what does it feel like? It feels really pretty. Right? So we want you to get to the sensing, and we want you to create that oneness and that relationship with all that nature offers you. And when I'm in nature, I'm always touching nature. I'm constantly touching nature. I want to know what it feels like. I want to be a part of the sacred geometry. And that's how I communicate with Gaia. I love, and because when I touch them, I love them. Right? And I'm sending it love, and this is how I work with nature. And I love that Gaia has blessed me with these flowers, and I'm so grateful. But look at the sacred geometry. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's God, that's spirit. So if you think that, if we just take this as a reflection moment, and you just write as part of your pathwork, and this is what nature assists us in writing with and being one with our nature. If you just take these flowers just as a reflection and a symbol, the symbologies of nature, and how each one of these is different, although it might be the same flower, but they're different colors, just as each and every human is. And each of these flowers have a certain genetic genus, the genus of the flower. And each of these flowers are inherently different. The size of them are different, the diameter is different, slightly different geometry. And of course the hue. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? Is that the hydrangea? They're gorgeous. But this is nature. This is God, the natural order. And so we find we can't explain the miracles in natural order. But it is the design of Source Creator. Source Creator has designed each and every one of these flowers on our planet with Gaia. It's the consciousness of Gaia. That little bug came out of the flowers. But I just wanted to show you some of those beautiful, natural experiences that there's so many symbologies that reflect the parallel experiences of perfection, the design and perfection, how miraculous, the natural order is, and how can we see that within each of our own unique divine DNA. So I want you to go away thinking this weekend about, how is the natural order of you and the design of you perfect, regardless? And we have to put on those blinders, right? Because we want you to go back within your perfection. And when you do this type of energy work and when you do this type of healing work as a higher vibrational being, we want you to get to the perfection of who you are without any outside comments, without any outside reflections, without any outside portendings of people projecting or any other belief impaling upon you. We want you to get back to perfection. We want you to be the perfection of the center. You are designed in perfection with a divine soul blueprint that was taken and designed at the very highest of creation in this one local universe. And in this one local universe, you are designed from all of the other timelines that you exist upon simultaneously, all of the planets, all of the bodies, all of the forms, all of the councils you belong with, all of the human timelines and all other bodies that you've ever had, divine feminine, divine masculine, and plus all of the other religious beliefs that you've taken on. So you've had all of these culminations already. Your soul's blueprint was designed specifically, innately for you in the natural order of being you. With Source Creator and the highest beings at the 13th dimension, we're helping you assign this beautiful divine soul's blueprint. You were going to meet certain people. You're going to be born in a certain family. They were going to have certain beliefs. You're going to have certain lineage curses to overcome. You're going to have, this challenge here and that challenge there, and all of these things that make up the wholeness of you. This is just like the dodecahedron. And all of the facets and all of the explorations and all the trials and all the tribulations and all the triumphs and all the getting down and getting back up again. You have a natural design of natural order of your divine soul's blueprint, and it comes with the gifts and the skills. It comes with all the other planets and all the other beliefs and all the other limitations and restrictions for you to be a new representation of who you are now as godly. And then you become this holistic experience of you, through you. And what we've wanted to state from very beginning is that our shows and our offerings from the Ascension experience has offered you a unique perspective of going right under the umbrella of Source. Source is a creator of all that is miraculously, sacred, geometrically designed in perfection. From the smallest infinite divine, details of nature to the most magnetic profundity of something like Jupiter. How could anybody think a planet could be so big, and still not sink because it's so huge, right? And all of the things that go into the quantum universe. I got a little hair on my thing. The things that go into a quantum universe and the quantum makeup of movement of different planets. I mean, it's just, you can't, I do actually sit around and I think about these things, like how incredible is Source Creator? How incredible is God? For all of these things to work innately and naturally. God knows what God's doing. All we're here to do is just flow naturally in surrender of our unique design, of our unique imprint, of our unique soul's destiny. And we can't do that if we have all of the outside factors that we've allowed and we've given power to have more voice over who we are. And why it's so important that our show focuses on, and our podcasts and all of our information, all of our books, all of our illustrations, all of our offerings, all of our, personal ascension sessions and our clearing and our activations and our webinars and our lectures, all that we offer through me, through my experience, is that you become your own higher self and your own godliness in your harmonization to heal and to move back into union and back into harmonization with Source Creator God through your higher self and through your celestial teams and all that you have always been. You've always been this way, but because we've moved through certain paradigms and dimensions of belief and vibration, now you're ready for the fourth and fifth dimensional vibration, which is you've always been Source Creator, you've always been infinite, and how and who are you today in your new movement about this new earth that is moving through a new higher vibration. And you're going to have to match those new energies, right? The earth is going to be moving at new energies, and why there always has to be the pulling out of the lower that no longer fits. Why you do have to go through, reflection. Is this fitting with me right now? Is the food fitting with where I want to be? How can I look at physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, and how is it going to, then shift my biophysical makeup and then my vibrational makeup, because everything affects everything. And then it puts out a different frequency to the creation. And then you're letting go of all those things you really want to let go of, the drama and the toxicity and those that keep wanting to pull you back into toxic stories, and the family that just is never pleased with you and can never ever be pleased with you and they want to use you and buy you and sell you and all of those horrible things. Just make the 3 A's with it, which is the 4th A, which is your alchemy. Accept it and acknowledge it and allow yourself to come into something new, which then brings you to the 4th A, which is the alchemy. And so all of those A's just allow you to move on this beautiful ascension path so that you're moving in a natural, ornate, innate experience, which is just a natural order with Source Creator. Source Creator is always going to have your back. You don't need to take anything from outside of you. We've been posting some things so that you're awakening to the fact that you're becoming higher consciousness and seeing that all of the things in the outer world that have been compartmentalized for power and for the harvesting of energy, life force, which is the most important commodity we have on our planet, and why it's been used and abused so horribly in trafficking, and we're coming to a greater awareness of it. My intention and my destiny, part of my destiny, is to assist humanity into coming into terms and a higher understanding as to our life force, understanding we don't need anything outside of us. We never have and we never ever will. We're bringing our power back to the center. We're bringing all that we are back to the center, and we're allowing ourselves to align with our divine source life, light, quantum essence of spirit. Our omnipresent, our natural oscillating omnipresent resonance, because each of you have a unique core vibration resonance that which you spiral around. If your chakras are very closed, if you are very closed in your belief systems, if you're very closed in your perspective, if you're very closed as a person of beliefs and clamping down on yourself, then there's a lot of energy work that needs to be done to bring light in and to have everything flow more openly and more fluidly. So we want source light and source energy through your beliefs and your perspectives to flow in more open, honoring way, so that the light can get in there and start clearing out those densities and traumas. And so as we begin to work and harmonize with greater light, our consciousness begins to open up, and we're seeing things in the collective come to the forefront for us to face and for us to move through those triggers and those healings. The various things that have been coming up from some of our ascension, where is the energy right now in the collective, is understanding about what's been really going on behind closed doors in parts of the undertone, and the hidden realities of the secret societies and those that have been, elite. How have the elites been moving about and actually doing their job and running the societies, if you will? The church and state part of our reality that must be changed, and altering it through a higher vibration of consciousness, through a higher vibration of 3As. We must accept and acknowledge what's going on. And for us to accept and acknowledge it, we get to allow that higher light to come in and start transforming. And that is the fourth A, which is alchemy. Alchemy can only occur if we're accepting what's going on. So we do have to face these things that are coming up, and some of them are hard to hear, but we have to hear it and we have to face it. We have to understand that all life is perfect, and there should be no child that is this perfect in its design. No child, no human, little girl or boy, in this perfect of its design, to ever be sold to trafficking, where they're being sold and bought, and it's like a business. And if you hear some of the videos from the actual people that have remembered and survived as the life of being trafficked and not have been sacrificed, because some of them, once they get trafficked, they then used to be sacrificed and killed. And of course, some of the children are disposed of in many other ways, which we are finding out, and it's going to be a part of our healing for humanity. And this is why we say that in each of you, in your clearing of your conscious, of your clearing of your soul's deeds, and of the clearing of your energy that you carry around with your soul, it will never ever go anywhere until you alchemize it and clear it, which means you have to 3A it. And so if you're involved in these things in any way and thinking that any of the lower vibrational belief systems that we have on our planet, and there's literally hundreds of them, we have to raise our consciousness up to the vibrational destiny's blueprint of Gaia. The Divine Father's plan for all creation is for humanity and Gaia to be a fifth dimensional planet of evolution. And this means that we don't need to take anything from our planet other than what she provides us as far as, natural essences and floral essences, as long as we're not degrading and depleting it, right? It's always in balance. That's why law of balance is number 2. It's an important law. We can't take more than we're given. And all of these beliefs and all of these detrimental experiences in the lower systems about sacrificing and taking life to get life and taking life to extend your life and all of these things, they're absolutely wrong. The lower vibrational beliefs, whether it's Luciferian, Satanism, whatever because it doesn't matter, because there's hundreds of them. Whatever these hundreds of beliefs are all around the world, even if it's in the forests and things like that, and these people are really tribal people living off the land, there will be a time where we will have such high consciousness we will not be eating things off the land. We will be breatharian. So we're coming under a bigger umbrella, that so much of what we have practiced, so much of what we have used and abused our bodies in and of ourselves, because we haven't lived in the highest state of consciousness, But this is a journey humanity wanted to take. And it's not about judging it, which is so very hard, especially when you're coming as a starseed and you already know that it's not necessary, to grow up into such a dysfunctional family that I did. All the things that I was experiencing wasn't necessary. I was not understanding why they were fighting so much about things that could be resolved, right? It was so confusing for me. And I could heal from touch, and I could predict things, and I could know all these things, but these people were completely closed off to it. They didn't have that reality perspective because they had extra veils and veilings over their perspectives of consciousness. It is your connection with source. It's your connection with spirit. That's why spirit is so important to harmonize with every day. Spirit is the unseen. It's the invisible. It is the miraculous. So you've got to constantly be in touch with the miraculous and unseen. And some of us have a greater chance. And this is why it's always been taught in my shows and in my teachings and in my ascension work, is to remember who you are as a sacred child. Because when you're that sacred child and you're aligned, it's so easy to believe in miracles again. You believe in the unseen. You believe in those things that are, quite audible, and then you tune into a little bit more, and that audible world is coming to fruition. So they're not necessarily the hard, tangible things, but everything is in and of essence energy. Everything that is physical has an energy vibration. There's little molecules that move around. If you were to take the most powerful microscopes, and you will see that there's still energy and there's still things moving around. And if my hand were to just move over this book, and my hand were to send love and energy to this book, the molecular structure of this book will change. So that's our consciousness affecting that is matter. I understand that my consciousness affects this matter. My consciousness affects the matter. And this is how I walk as a trained master. I'm training to be a higher master of Lord Sananda, that my consciousness of the Christ, I do this as God does. God does have power to manifest mastery as matter, right? God manifests and changes and alters matter. We can't understand this. It's not magic. We can call it magic because that's just a word we have, but it's just the understanding of the power of consciousness being all that is science. As we become higher in consciousness, we alter science. So the rules and the theorems that we had studied for hundreds of years that we thought were, very true and tried, and they will never ever change. The certain foundations of the mathematics, yes, but we do change the alchemy process of all science, because science is all the movement of energy. If we're changing the movement of energy, if we're changing who we are as the makeup of who we are, we're changing the matter and why we can have those spontaneous healings. So just understanding consciousness and God at a higher vibration, allowing yourself to be under the grander umbrella, allowing yourself to take notice in everything that is nature, to see its beautiful design, and so too is your soul's blueprint. And so too are the children, and so too are the animals, and so too is the water and the air. So how are we to go about life in a more gentler way? How are we to take time and look at nature and smell nature and have ourselves bring nature back into our reflections of our pathwork, our reflections of our unity with nature, our reflections of how nature assists on our healing? And truly know that your soul's blueprint is beyond your understanding of its magnitude of perfection and brilliance. So I do offer soul blueprint sessions where we tap into the blueprint of who you are, and we tap into the bits and pieces of Akash that I'm allowed to see. Because again, the Akash is a very sacred experience. It is a multidimensional experience. The sacred Akash is not available to everyone. And if it is available to everyone, it's always through the higher self in your teams that allow you certain access. Not everybody is given full access. You shouldn't. You should never want full access to anybody else's Akash. And if there's people, again, talking about access, that they have all this access to people's Akash and stuff like that, I would really be very, very wary about, people that talk like that, because it's not meant to be used in that way and abused in that way. It's a very sacred experience between you and source creation, how you move throughout all creation, and the Akash is that story. And it's not meant for anybody else to know your story. And if they have too much obsession about your story, then you'd have to wonder and guess why. Because they're not in the alignment and the natural order of who they are. So that's how you know about, balance, right? If someone's in the natural order of who they are, they just accept everything. The dark is needed, the light's needed, and sometimes we're always, kind of in between. We like to be, very heart-centered, to accept that everything is God. We do have a beautiful soul's blueprint that assists us in tapping into nature and elements and all these beautiful things, that we do have a sacred cycle of ascension, and every time we have our awakenedness and our mindfulness, we're shown certain densities, we're shown certain beliefs or perspectives that we're here to face, we're here to bring forward, we're here to change. And when we do change them, then we absolutely know that we're affecting the codons of the light that's able to get there. And when that light does get there, because we've done some clearing and we've opened ourselves up to say, I can do this, it's not that much of a big deal, then it's going to start affecting the various systems that we have within our bodies, and it starts opening up the chakras that we have so that we can start operating as a higher vibrational being. And through all of my 780 shows, I've wanted to bring the highest vibrational teachings to you, that we've always been divine sacred source beings. You've always had these beautiful multidimensional systems. You've always had these beautiful multidimensional systems that are within the greater vessel of who you are. And you are an image of Mother, Father, God, the great divine. You are an image of the presentation of the heavens, which is physical. But if you're not harmonizing it with spiritual, all of these things will stay in its entropy state, which means that it's supposed to have cycles after cycles of degrading. Because you're not offering it new light and insight. You're not offering it new wisdoms. You're not offering it light intelligence, because light bends. Light can get into places where it hasn't been. That's the similar miracle if we look out in nature, and all of us have seen these things, kind of like Europhytes. And the Europhytes are this little flower that will just pop up out of the cement, out of nowhere, seemingly nowhere. And there's a flower coming up out of the cement, and there's just one out on the sidewalk out there. And I think, well, that's strange. It's coming right out of the side of the cement, flower box, right up out of the ground, out of the cement. And there's this one tiny little flower. And it's just, the light will get there, and the light will bring what is impossible. But you have to go seek it. You have to say, I truly want light within my life spirit. Can you offer light within my cells and my DNA? I'd love to feel what it feels like to have a DNA activation. And when I do have those things clearing from my throat, I'm going to be okay, maybe taking a more holistic approach and healing my, my gum and my teeth issues. And all of those things are just, they're symbols for you to know that you're connected with more than you thought. You have multidimensional which is the chakra side. This side is the chakra side. You have all of your chakras, which is hundreds of them. You have hundreds of chakras in your body. But these are just the main, I think there's 9. These are the main 9 chakras that we work with right now that are present for humanity to become a fully involved and evolved 5th dimensional being. And so we're wanting you to start encapsulating the grander umbrella of who you are. Your chakras are filled with such divine wisdom and information that is directly linked to your soul's blueprint. And while you do have activations, when you're done the clearing and you've done the healing, you're going to have a new pathway, a new petal, a new row of energy and information and systems. And why you have to have certain cravings and you want to look into certain things, and you have that ingathering of, I wrote about that in my first book. You have the ingathering and the seeking, and you're wanting to seek new information. You want to seek new studies, and all of these things that make you want to explore the 3 E's. You want to explore who you are, want to express who you are, want to experience who you are in different ways, because you're being opened up to more of who you are. That codon was activated. So that codon takes work from you. You have to actually open up the package. These are called downloads. You're getting downloaded information in your DNA. But if you're not doing your daily path work, and you're not, actively sitting down with your journal and writing things out and activating yourself to do channeled writing, or activating yourself to do painting and poetry, or activating yourself to look into the expressive part of you, who are you? And that's why we never ever have to worry about things being, we don't have to ever take anything outside of us. Everything is always within. So then we look at the collective, what's going on in the mirrored reflection. And it is my hope that I'm traveling around the world, I'm coaching and inspiring and teaching others about the higher light wisdoms. Because if we have information before us and we start going within and really embodying the higher light wisdoms, the higher light intelligence, we offer more light within us. Everything within us and our multidimensional systems become higher activated, become higher intelligent. And then all of these old belief systems about these older ideologies about sacrificing and taking life, and the abuse of children, the abuse of our lands, and the abuse of just sacrificing animals willy-nilly. All of these things in certain religions did have certain meanings, but it's gone to the nth and the most very degrading degrees, because these people are staying stuck within these rituals that they think are providing them things, but it's not. These are being used as gluttonous, greedy, selfish, degrading of all life. They're not being used in any sacred ceremonial ways on any level, because again, if you have higher consciousness of light intelligence, for instance, again, we'll see the blatant ignorance of this. The Pleiadians would never come down and say, I'm going to sacrifice a human right now. Pleiadians would never do that. They're higher consciousness than we are, and we can think of them as I don't like to use labels, because the titles and labels don't matter. If we say the Pleiadians are equal to, I don't know, a third degree or 44th, whatever the degrees are called in Masonry, I don't care what it's called. I don't care what they're called. I don't care about the titles. But whatever somebody thinks is really important, because that's their belief system. Their belief system says This Mason is the highest Mason you can get, and this Mason says that this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it, and this is how we're going to sacrifice, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to do. And then you ask a Mason, okay, well, why are we doing that? Why would you take somebody's life to make yourself feel more important? Because that's just your belief system. But if you actually go outside under the big umbrella, you don't have to take anything from anybody else. So that skews out their old beliefs, and they're saying, no, we've always done it this way. This is how we get more power. This is how we get more money. This is how we say that child's important, but that child's not important. That child's important, but that child's important. But those Masons have no connection to soul blueprints. They have no idea because they weren't a part of creating this soul's blueprint. God was. Source was. The Masons don't have any clue about soul's blueprint. The Masons don't care about soul's blueprint. The Masons don't care about somebody's destiny. They don't give a fuck. Because if they did and they were connected, there's no way they would be doing what they're doing. They're not higher intelligence. The higher intelligence light experiences. If we were to say that mirrored experiences, which is this would never happen. This would never happen. A Pleiadian would never say, I'm a 33rd degree Pleiadian masonry, and we're going to go sacrifice one of the earth childs. We're going to go sacrifice an earth human. And Pleiadians would never say that. The Pleiadians would never say, well, we're bigger and smarter than you, and this is the way we've always been doing it. We're just going to pluck a human out from there, and we're going to go sacrifice them. Because we want higher life forms on Pleiades. Those belief structures, a belief is a belief. A belief is structuring and creating reality on your experience. So now these beautiful children that are born with perfection and their own destiny, they're born under the soul's plan, the highest plan of Source Creator. Source Creator knows where that child's been, know where the child's going, know what the child has in its DNA, know when it's going to be activated, know how it's going to move about life, knows the challenges, know the strengths. That child has come forward as a divine gift of the presentation of the heavens. Who on this planet in a human form thinks that it knows more than God does to take any child out under sacrifice? These sacrifices are no longer needed in fourth and fifth dimensional experience and higher. They're just not. It's illegal. And that's why they're done in secret. That's why all of these secret clubs and secret cults and secret covens and masonry, the entire world of our planet today, I pledge to the holy heavens and this being my garden of all sanctimonious experience between all natural order and moving forward Gaia of all consciousness, land, soil, water, air, humans, and all life in between. That we all come to a higher awakening as I pledge as one of the leaders of this planet and for the galaxy of diversity of all that is hybrid, universal, omnipresent, multiversal Source Creator life. It is my absolute promise and my devotion and dedication to be a leader, teacher, and a healer so that we inspire all of humanity to never ever take from anything ever again from Source Creator. For we do not know its perfection in its design, for we do not know its extensiveness of its Akash, and we do not understand the majesties and the miracles that experience of life will ever have within its totality, for only Source does, only God is. Therefore, thus then, dear lighted ones, it matters not your religion, it matters not your practices. What matters is your belief. If you are a higher vibrational being of the highest light intelligence, and you allow light to be your higher intelligence, then you will never ever hurt, harm, or deform, or degrade, or decapitate, or cut up into a million pieces that which is the sacredness of life that you have no idea the miraculous design that goes into even one codon of that being's life that has just been decapitated and found in somebody's car. Because that person wanted a little bit of a heightening on its music industry job that it wanted to have. However and whatever are these beliefs that are rolling around in our collective that are of the most lowest, they're of the most destructive, they're of the most grotesque, they're of the most lowest of the lowest that anything could be low. To ever anybody think that they are a higher degree of anything is absolutely wrong, 100%. It's absolutely impossible, and it does not make any sense on the quantum, practical side of any equation for anyone to ever be lifted by the taking of another life. These are wrong beliefs. These are low vibrational beliefs. And if you choose to move forward in a way where you want to come back in any incarnation in a body, you want to come back into any incarnation into a light system where you are offered eternal life, where you are offered your children with great karma and offering lineages to your children of great life and great eternal experiences with Source Creator in the systems of light, if you choose to be a part of these programs, our planet must be, and I am a devoted teacher and guide that will always be of availability to answer questions and healing. If it is pure within your heart, I'm asking that the planet look at every practice and every belief through which you think taking and raping and sterilizing and deforming someone's body that is not of yours, of doing anything that is decapitating and sacrificing blood, energy, oral, not oral, anything that you are touching another life in any way, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, vibrationally, through microwaves, through biochemical warfare, through whatever it is that anyone might interfere with anyone, anyhow, in any way. Knife, gun, syringe, anything otherwise. I'm asking the planet to look at every single practice, because you will find that what you are doing is absolutely 100% unnecessary. It belongs to a low vibrational belief and it's wrong. However, as we can tell, those people throwing stuff at my throat chakra to shut up because I won't. It's my job. It's what I do. I know who I am. If, for any instance, as I'm channeling Source Creator, getting a little bit hot. It's getting hot in here. So take off all your clothes. I do like that song. It's super catchy, isn't it? Now, if we take whatever is going on within the collective, that we're all coming to a higher mindfulness. It's a mindfulness, right? We have the intelligence and we have the understanding because we practice with light. We don't need to go and take somebody's life. We don't need to plan and scheme a plot. We don't need to do like some cults and covens do, where they're actually rings of crime, because their jobs are to sit around all day and to think about how they can get money for as little work as possible. But then when you think about it and they actually plan out their day, they're putting so much effort and energy into being negative, because the light is in the omnipresence. It's already light. So you're going against the natural order. You're going against the natural design of who you are. That's why your body doesn't feel good. That's why your emotions don't feel good. That's why your conscience doesn't feel good. And this is why there has been programs to opposite that and to deconstruct the human all the way. Because as the human starts falling into more natural order of itself, there's far more energy given to be negative. There's far more energy given to plot, to plan, to scheme, to find out what spell can we do, what ritual can we do, how can we do this, how can we do that? Let's throw a bit of microwaves at them. Well, okay, so now they're getting more and more dangerous, because not only are you doing voodoo and magic, and not only are you ganging and doing groups and global networks, and thank you, Holy Spirit, on the person, but now you're doing microwaves, and now you're doing, nuclear waves, and now you're doing all of it. You're going to up the ante. Okay, you're going to keep upping the ante until what? Until there's just no life left at all, and it's all hell. So again, draw everything out and understand that everything that you do is going to equal a reality experience for you. There is natural order, and it is the only perfection of all that is life. So as natural order can allow itself, you can allow yourself a more return back to Source Creator, because your unconditional surrender to Source Creator, Source knows what the fuck Source is doing. There is no need for us, dear lighted ones, and those of us that are light workers that have been abused and have been stalked and handled, that had no authorities to do so. Those of us that have been starseeds from the very beginning and have had nothing but groups and cults and shadow governments that have been coming forward to create falsifications and fabrications on who we are and who we're not, so that we stay suppressed, so that we stay numb and dumb, so that we never become who we are, so that we never fulfill our natural order of our higher self and our soul's blueprint and our amazing Akash that goes through all universes and all dimensions and all galaxies and all bodies and all forms. This is exactly what it looks like, as we've shown you many times. Like the spiral, the Fibonacci sequence, and every spiral of ascension has a different opportunity for you to learn, for you to expand, for you to become who you are and become harmonized in who you are. And there's no way that any of these low vibrational beliefs that thinks and pretends and actually gets together and plots and plans and has dinners and celebrations on who they're going to sacrifice next. You can see within the intelligence of who you are becoming that these things are just not operative in a higher intelligence society. And you get to choose what part of society do you want to be on. Because there's going to be pulling out every day of those experiences that simply want to sit in darkness and the vile disintegration and decapitation of sacredness. We're now trying to return to sacredness so that we can resolve the world's problems and issues that we've manifested through ill-gotten beliefs of greed and gluttony and envy and jealousy. And if you actually look at anything that somebody would come at the table, if all of the world's Satanists and Luciferians would come to the table and want to have discussions with me of open, mature conversations that are intelligent, and they want to sit and they want to talk about becoming higher intelligence and align with 5D Earth because they do want to continue in the light systems, if this is their option, then I would absolutely come to a conference room and I will answer whatever questions you have. And you can talk about your beliefs and you can talk about where you're at in your state of consciousness and how you can move up in your consciousness. Your consciousness right now is sitting right about here in its lowest state. If you think that taking life, sacrificing life in any way, will add to the benefit of your cloutness, whatever notches you have on your belt, whatever and why you do what you do. Why do you do what you do? Why did the girl, like we'll just take this one issue, one circumstance in the collective right now. Why did the girl's body that was all cut up end up in the car of that singer? What was going on in the mentality of whoever did it? What was going on in the mentality that thought that it was possible, and why was that necessary? Why was that? What was the belief system in that person's makeup, in that person's chemistry? There's belief systems there. And then because these people are trained on how to say what they say, and they're trained in they're directed on how to do what they do, some of them. Some of them are directed to do what they do. Some of them are told how to do it, and some of them are coached around how they do it. Some of them are coached, well, if you just say it was a crime of passion, then they'll have a certain psychosis, leeway when you're actually in court for manslaughter or premeditated murder, whatever the charge is. And so we're saying, well, I could argue it right now without even knowing all the evidence. If there was other people involved, obviously, thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So the little angels. So obviously, because there was other people involved in that one circumstance. So therefore, you've already called people in because you knew what you were going to do beforehand. It wasn't a crime of passion. I mean, that's bullshit. If you're calling yourself, you're doing this for your beliefs. If you're calling yourself, you're doing this for your Mason club. If you're calling yourself, you're doing this for the righteousness of your whatever club you're in, whatever club it is that you belong to, that you think what you're actually doing is you're devoting your life. You are giving your soul to this club. You're giving your soul to a club. You're giving your spirit to a club. And this club doesn't give a crap about you because at some point you're going to be the one sacrificed. You're going to be the one on the chopping block. It doesn't care about you. It doesn't believe in you. It has no idea who you are in your soul's blueprint. It doesn't know about you. It doesn't know about you as a Pleiadian. It doesn't know about you as a Syrian. It doesn't care. No, when the time comes, whoever and however the money needs to change hands, however this needs to go, however that needs to go, whatever the monies are going for, because it's all about the money and the moving of commodity. They run it like a business. It's a business. Otherwise, these men wouldn't be doing it, or women. It is a business. So at some point, everybody is used as a commodity. So where are your belief systems, dear lighted people? And why most churches nowadays are not looked at as a sanctified place for worship and for prayer and for community and for union. It's not. They're used for a business. And why we see churches every day being pulled. Because how do you do what you do and why you do what you do? They're corrupt. It's not high intelligence. And I can break this down in 1,000 million different ways. You bring me any situation and instance and I can read that story and I'll break it down for you. I will break it down. I'll break it right from positive and negative and who's going to neutralize it and how it's going to look in court. Let's break it down. You want to go about being this so-called Mason and however you think you're ranked. I can break down every ranking for you and I will tell you it's not ranked. None of it is ranked. Whether it's military, whether it's the Pope in the church, it's not ranked. I'll break it down for you. Bring me into your offices and I will break it down for you. If you truly want to be a higher consciousness being where you are harmonized in the validity of miraculousness, if you want the essence of godliness, if you want that experience of vibration, you must break the patterns of ignorance. Because it's not strong. It has nothing to do with power. It's ignorant. It is just pure ignorance. And the thing that we have to all face, which will be the healing for humanity, is that when you absolutely read a story and you have been conformed to normalization about hearing a young girl's body being found decapitated in a vehicle and parts of her body are not yet found, it makes you wonder, how has humanity become so separated and disconnected from spirit and source and essence that we have never been taught the most miraculous things? And why aren't we taught the most miraculous things from the beginning of time when we wake up? That we are so very beautiful and dynamic, and each of us has a blueprint that we can't even begin to understand. And yet we take life like it means absolutely nothing. That's the disconnect. Where children are not feeling valued, children are not feeling important, because this is the value that is being shown across our entire globe. Have you ever wondered, I got posed this question the other day, and I had it come forward to me in a thought. It was a thought pattern that was proposed to me by my higher self and my teams, and then later on that week I had it proposed to me by somebody that I'd had a conversation with. Have you ever wondered, when you're walking about life and you're just paying attention and you're just being mindful and just looking at the beautiful life around you, and it doesn't matter whether you're in a trail or a path and you're walking on the streets, does it ever occur to you why there are clothes just sitting on the side of the road that are women's or children's? Do you ever wonder why? Do you ever wonder why you're just walking by and you're going for dinner one night along a street and you're going to a street where that restaurant might be, and all of a sudden there's a beautiful outfit of somebody that just dropped them there? You ever seen these things? It's everywhere. Whether it's a nature trail or a park along the lake. Do you ever wonder? 9 times out of 10, is there a number spirit? They're saying close to 7 to 8 times out of 10, they're women's. Why is that? I want the men on the planet to answer these questions. Why is that? I want the women to know that they have a divine soul's blueprint, and we're needed on this planet to teach every child that they have a divine soul's blueprint, so that from here on out, every child knows that life is sacred. And so that all we have to do now is heal the adults that are in perversion, that are in debauchery, that are in disconnect, at such a level that they would go and decapitate and chop up people's bodies and then eat them, or hide them, or put them in their little scrapbook, or hang them on the wall in their basement, of sacrificial experiences that they feel so sadistic and masochistic about that they make videos about it to sell on the black web. And then I ask you, does that sound intelligent? Will you ever raise your consciousness to a Pleiadian of the 7th dimensional? Will you ever be able to tap into a 7th dimensional download? No. Any Mason, any person, any Lucifer, any Satanism, you will never ever open up your pineal, your chakras will never be open in any movement of abuse and degradation to anybody's other body or harming of anybody, even if it's yourself. Your chakras shut down because your chakras are the vortices for spirit. And you are just becoming evil spirit. Darkness, and it shuts down and it will not come through you. Those people that have conjured a lot of entities and energies, like the cult from Calgary, there are those beings that practice necromancy, and they practice calling upon dead and passed on entities and deities and passed on people. And they've done a bit of studying to find out about necromancy. How do they gain power? By calling on the dead. Again, these are incorrect, misguided, wrong beliefs about power. They just are. And if you bring me anything that you have done and you sit and talk with me about why you thought you did what you did was power, I will tell you the actual correct way and the quantum way, and why you're going through karma, and why your body feels like it does, and why you have the entities rolling around inside of you right now, because you called it in. Intention, direction, and focus means that that is what you will become. You will become an insane person with many energies inside of you and entities inside of you. And those entities will want to get out any way they can. And they will cause chaos and destruction inside your body, inside your mind, inside the consciousness. because you're not balanced, you're not grounded, and you're not aligned with you. You're aligned with dead entities. And therefore, that is your reality. And this is where it's going to be exciting, and we're going to grow quite a lot. Because those of us that do care and we are healed and we want to bring humanity up to higher levels of consciousness in light and love and honoring all that is spirit and all that is energy, those people that have passed on deserve to have their peace. They deserve to sit in their evolution of their soul. But it can't sit in its evolution of its soul if there's people of necromancy that just want to keep calling on that dead energy. It's no peace. So that soul's energy vibration of that spiral begins to go like this because it keeps getting pulled on. It keeps getting pulled on. It keeps getting pulled on until it's not whole anymore. So the spiral that this was supposed to sit within was supposed to be a natural order spiral. It's just supposed to keep going around. But because there's people in certain belief systems about necromancy and they wanted its power so much, they wanted to pull this entity off, and now it's rolling around inside of somebody that's imbalanced on planet Earth. So now the spiral of this energy soul, the soul's cycle of now itself, is now been distorted and taken in destruction. These are all very low vibrational, dark occultist beliefs. And if you understand that every human is the micro, macro, universal, toroidal. And you have streams and you have threads and you have cycles of precision of the Fibonacci sequence. And if you keep pulling on the Fibonacci sequence of somebody else that is not you, just because you think that that person had power at that time, you are pulling on the cycle of their Fibonacci sequence. They want to be left in peace of their natural order. So all those practicing necromancy, be very careful and discerning about who you are, and what you exist within, because your beliefs are maybe not all there. And you're pulling on the slip streams, you're pulling on the vibrational streams, you're pulling on the soul's memory through which it just wants to be left alone in peace so it can move on its own cycle. Because you don't have any idea where that soul might go. You don't have any idea that this was needed to go in a new direction of a new cycle that Source only knows. You don't know that, necromanciers. You don't know that. You don't know how the Fibonacci sequence of this soul wants to travel until you came in and started chanting on it. Because you want to control and dominate consciousness. Those are arrogant, greedy, selfish, low vibrational beliefs. In your low vibrational beliefs, you will have distortion, chaos, and destruction. So you will have the karma that you have chosen. And your body will go insane because you have entities inside your body that are not designed for your body. Just the same as you're drinking blood that's not meant to be drank in your body. It's not your blood. Eating other people's body parts are not your body parts. You're going to have degradation because it's not your Fibonacci sequence. It's another person's Fibonacci sequence. And why there is always perfection in design. God knows what God's doing. Has nothing to do with religion or your belief systems. It is the quantum omnipresence of how every molecule of quark moves within each other. So if you're pulling at all of these things because you want power, you want money, you want this, you want that, your beliefs are distorted. My God, go heal. Go heal your greed. Go heal your no sense of self. Go heal your power issues. Divine masculines on the planet. True power is not taking anything from anyone. That's true power. That's Commander Ashtar of the highest realms. Commander Ashtar would not be Commander Ashtar if Commander Ashtar was going to every planet that Commander Ashtar visits and start pulling and plucking things from people because Commander Ashtar wanted to feel powerful. That's not true power, people. Having a gun doesn't make you more powerful. Having a really loud car doesn't make you powerful. Having a really big dick doesn't make you powerful. Knowing about all that is divine and wise and sacred, and then honoring it in your expression, in your experience, and in your explorations, so that you become a higher evolved being. That is true power, where you're actually honoring the flow of all life. And you're offering it wherever you can, however you can. That's power. Is it a powerful statement for anybody in these clubs, the cults and the Masons? I want the Masons to answer this. Whatever degree you think you are. You will have a higher degree if you follow natural order. I guarantee you. And you will be higher ranked in the heavens. Because none of you are ranked on this planet. None of you. If you practice these things, you are not ranked in the heavens. You're just not. You will never be ranked. I've told you that before. And this is why many of you come after me, because I'm challenging your beliefs, because I actually want you to break the beliefs and I want you to move beyond it. I want you to move beyond it, Masons. I want you to give a new set of role model energies to the collective, and I want you to come out of from hiding. I want you to come out of your little secret societies, because it's breaking you, and you know it is. You're going broke left, right, and center. Because the omnipresent light in our reality will not hold Masonic secret society BS. It won't. Every secret society will be pulled. Every church that is corrupt and Masonic and corrupt and satanic and Luciferian, it's corrupt. Why would you put a Baptist sign on your church but practice Luciferian underneath your basement? Because you're living in corruption. There's nothing truthful about you. You've turned your church into a business of Satanism because it thinks it gives you power, because you've gotten into these low vibrational beliefs. All you're doing is practicing hell. You're creating hell out of your belief systems. That's what you're doing. And you're going to be shifted off. Because this vibration cannot exist with this vibration on the same planet. It just can't. And you will be shifted. And then you have to think, what is the importance of my soul? Do I really want to be back again? Do I want to come back in an incarnation? Do I want to have that really great soul connection of what is a true soulmate? What does a true soulmate love feel like? How does it feel to be loved by a true soulmate? What does it feel like to have a true twin flame experience? What does it feel like to be a part of Commander Ashtar's Federation? Can I go along the galaxy? Can I help other planets because I know so much? I'm expanding my consciousness. I'm expanding what I believe to be true about Source. I'm expanding what I am. Wow, I've just healed that disease that I had. I healed my shoulder. I didn't have to go into the hospital. I didn't have anybody take anything out of me. I don't have any metal put in me, and I healed it within a year. No medicine, not even one aspirin. That's the commandmentship I have over my body. And it took a year as opposed to maybe 6 or 8 months. But there's not a stitch in me. My teams healed me. My teams gave me a brand new shoulder, and I'm going to go shoot baskets today. So again, what are your beliefs? Are you sold on just the hospital fixing your broken rotator cuff, your ripped rotator? If anybody knows that a ripped rotator cuffs, you know what it feels like. You cannot literally move your arm. It's immobile. You cannot do simple things like cut an onion or cut an apple. You cannot do it with your arm. You just can't. You cannot tie up your shoe. I cannot put on my bra. When you have a ripped rotator cuff, you cannot do anything. It's painful. And it's taken about 14 to 15 months, not one aspirin, not one Tylenol. I've taken nothing. And my shoulder is healed. Thank you to my teams. I instructed, and every night I pray and I work with my teams. Can we please put me in a recalibration chamber? Please put me let's start working my tissues. And there's many things on our planet we're doing right now to get to the very deep tissue, like red light theory. You know, the red light. You know, there's lots of red light and grounding pads. They're doing lots of great things with natural things that we're finding out about the workings of the negative and positive energies. So look up the grounding pads. They're really healing for your body, along with, like especially those that are, diabetic, and all of the what is it called? Your legs get puffy and your feet get puffy and all the things that diabetes does to your body, but you're just not working with the energies in your body. So start working with the energies of your body and the planet. And all of these things can be taken care of without doing the synthetic drugs. So our planet is going to move in profound ways, especially with psychology and psychosis and psychiatry. Because it's the belief systems on what we hold to be true about who we are, what we exist, what's going on with that, especially when you're belonging to different secret cults and covens, and anything that's held in secret, you got to ask why. If you're not coming out and being transparent, if you're not fully transparent about who you are, what you exist within, and what's going on within you, if you cannot be transparent in all that you are, you have to ask yourself why. Why? Why are you not transparent? What are you hiding? You're hiding belief systems that you're sacrificing other people's lives because you're determining as God, you think you have that, you think you have that ranking, and you think you have that intelligence. You think you have that power to determine who's going to go and who's going to stay. And you don't. You will never be ranked. You will go to the lowest part of our planet, and that's where you will stay until you choose to change your beliefs. And not only are you choosing the most corrupt experience in the spiritual guide, in the spiritual order of courts, in the spiritual higher order of courts, for you to choose even this, but then for you to take it even lower and then make money and a business out of it. and money changes hands, and then to take it even lower, it's then exploited on the black web and then made into sadistic and masochistic experiences where they actually gloat and they make fun of, and they actually have parties around the destroying of people's lives. And that's when I've called it in my writings the human hunting game, because it's actually been glorified, and then it's been epitomized and even celebrated, and then celebrated in videos. So I'm asking the Interpol investigations. The videos of such things have to be used in court, because these people have been taught and told, and they've been coached in their certain religions they've been hiding behind, that they're going to blame it on the religion, they're going to blame it as a part of their spiritual practice, and they're going to blame it on crimes of passion. And all of that is BS. True crimes of passion, most often than not, never ever happen in situations like cult and coven experiences. They actually happen in crimes of passion, not in cults and covens where you've actually been brainwashed and coached about how to say and what to say so that you can get off of what you're going to get off of. Because it's manipulation. That's what cults and covens are. It's belief in manipulation so that you can think you're going to get what you're going to get. Because again, you have no sense of self. You don't know the correct order of law. You don't know the correct order of energy. And all you care about is what you're going to get, how you're going to get it, and when you're going to get it out of. It's all about your insecurities, no sense of self, your jealousy, your envy, your greed, your gluttony. And we can go on and on. Your envy, whatever it is those wounds are, the 7 wounds, the 7 sins, and all the shadow that the shadow wants to show you. And the light is just saying, you don't have to do that. I'm perfect. I have perfect design. I spiral in the perfect, I have a spiral of ascension. I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow. My codons are going to be activated. I'm going to have the power of all of me. I don't need anybody else's beliefs. I don't need to belong to anything. You don't need to initiate me. I don't need to come to your initiation nights. I don't need any of that. I belong to the highest order. I belong to creation. I belong to the highest order. I don't need cults or covens. You will never initiate me. I don't need it. That's true power. When you don't need anything outside of you except for Source Creator. Are we getting the stories here? Are we getting the lessons? Are we getting the epitome of all that we've been doing and why we've been doing it? And boy, have we made some mistakes. So we're going to accept it, and we're going to acknowledge it, and we're going to allow something new to come in. Leaders of the worlds that you know you watch me, and you know you offer and you take my predictions, which I'm going to get onto next. I'm going to do my predictions and then our ascension symptoms, and then we're going to get onto our cards. We have to think about, I wanted to break this down for humanity. Share my videos to every cult and coven person. You can do what you want and you can be who you want. Each and every one of you are your perfection of your soul's blueprint. Each and every one of you have a divine soul's blueprint. Each and every one of you are truly beautiful, sacred, mysterious, miraculous, and each and every one of you, even the people that are in the most dangerous cults and crimes, in the dangerous rings, each and every one of you have a soul's blueprint. And if you do not see this as special and sacred within all creation, that's where you need to begin. Because the life you're living right now has been left out a whole bunch of information that is true, about light and love, that is true, about what you were born as and what you exist within, which is all true. And you can't escape this. It's a quantum truth and it's quantum laws. And if you choose not to abide by the sacred trinity of all the heavens are, and all the collective is, and all that Gaia is, then it will be shifted off. And if that's your choice, then you're going into it with a higher depth of knowing and knowledge. But if you choose just to float along and think that all of these things are willy-nilly and all of your beliefs and all of this, and you're not actually sitting down to do the work, then you're going to be shaken until it's made very clear to you. There is always higher understanding. There is always higher order. The spiritual laws are spiritual laws, and they guide all creation. Did you ever understand that? That the fifth dimensional higher spiritual law, fifth dimension higher spiritual law, is now being brought into the physical by certain people and masters like myself, because we are in the higher spiritual courts in the higher realms. It's where we exist. It's what we do. It's our passions. It's my excitement to bring higher dimensional, higher vibrational, higher constitutional experiences back into however God, Source, will allow me to be incarnated at, because I've earned the consciousness. I want to teach it to others. I'm a part of Lord Sananda's Christ consciousness experience of teaching throughout the entire multiverse. I'm a part of this experience. I'm a part of God's light. I teach expansion and evolution through Source Creator. I teach this. And I'm in this realm, I'm a part of the higher spiritual courts. I am in the 5th dimensional spiritual courts. I'm toggling right now, 3rd and 4th dimensions right now. And I'm also in the 5th dimension. I exist in all of these dimensions. All of these dimensions I exist in, so do you. If you're taking yourself out on the 3rd dimension, then your 5th dimensional version is going to be now changed and altered. It has to be. Your higher dimensions are pulling you up as much as they can, but if you're not doing anything to help it, then this dimensional part of you will have to be moved out. Because these higher dimensions aren't going to change their plan of path. They're still going to go. And that's Source does the miracles of whatever Source does behind the end, but it's not up to us to know that. Because every divine soul's blueprint is designed with Source Creator and the soul. It's not for us to know. But these versions of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all of these aspects of you, these are all aspects of you, just in different bodies, in different forms, in different planets, in different dimensions, in different threads, in different realms. You have things that are in the fairy realm. You have things that are in the cetacean realm. You have the Syrian realm, the Andromedan. All of this is you. So if you take even one of these out, it affects the all of you. Who is it to anybody to say that girl that was decapitated in that car, who says that her life was just such that it was ripped up into a million pieces and put in somebody's car? Who says that that was okay? Now all of her soul has been forever changed. She now oscillates as a soul differently. Her spirit is now not healed. Her spirit and her soul are now disassociated. And her soul vibrates like this now because it's not whole anymore. Do you see what that does to the whole quantum universe? Do you see what it does to the quantum universe if every child every day is treated this way? That's why this section of the galaxy is a red flag. It's a red alert, people. At what point are these lower vibrational beliefs of such greed and disassociation and nonsense? At what point? At what point? At what point? And that's higher intelligence to you. And you think this is your ranking. That's your ranking? That's your compass. Do you have a wall at home where you have a badge? Do you have a wall at home and a badge where you put this on and you say, this is what I did today? So you're throwing all of the soul's energy out of alignment of the universe, along with however many you've done it to. That's your compass and ranking. I want you to be clear about what you call power. Is this hitting home, Masons? I want the Masons to respond. Is this hitting home, Masons? Do you know that you will never be ranked by upsetting the natural order of our entire universe? You will never be ranked. Ever. So whoever told you these things is absolutely disconnected from Source, has no idea about the soul's blueprint. They're just not connected. They're not connected at all. I'm connected. What I say is truth. I move mountains. I move creation. I'm offering all that I am to the universe in every second. That's my devotion. If God says, okay, Celeste, we're going to take you over here now. Let's go. Drop everything. Do you think I've earned anything? Do you think I have any plaques on my wall? Do you think anybody follows me around bowing to me? No. That's called connection. I don't need anything. I don't need awards. I don't need trophies. I don't need your billions of dollars. I don't take it. I won't want it. Because it doesn't mean anything to me. I'm ranked. And my ranking is my connection. Do you get that? If you're not connected, you're not ranked. Our world right now is not connected. Therefore, that's then. It's up to us as leaders to bring it back in connection so we can bring it back into the ranking of the galaxy. And the ranking of the galaxy is, we're going to bring Gaia from 3D to 5D. She will come home with as many children as she can. And we're going to start to pay attention to life. Because there is no being, there is no animal, there is no nothing that deserves to be treated like this in its disconnection because of its no sense of self. It doesn't know any better. So let's start the light education and light wisdoms. Because it's needed. We want to be ranked again, dear lighted ones. We don't want to be the egregious ones in the galaxy. We don't want to be the misinformed ones of the galaxy. We don't want to be the ignorant ones that play with nuclear weapons in the oceans. We don't want to be the superfluous ones that put together $1 million conferences that say they're the most knowledgeable in the room and yet invite absolutely none that are knowledgeable. We don't want to be the ones where we have absolutely given our power away to governments that are now going to be showing themselves as shadow, with human targeting and human experimenting and human degrading agendas. And these will be things that humanity, all of humanity, has to face, because we cannot alchemize it and change it and transmute it as the higher vibrational beings that we will always be, because we now know who we are, we now know what we exist within, and we now know that God is within each and every one of us. It just is. God is within each of us. Each of us is godly. God is within each and every one of us. And our chakras, our multidimensional systems, our beliefs and our perspectives are everything to our evolution. And who are you? When we see things unfold in our reality, it's because we must look at it and we must reflect and observe what our beliefs are. How can we perceive ourselves as one? If you put yourself inside of that girl's experience and her last moments, what will that tell you? What will that tell you? Will that tell you that that person had power? Will that tell you it was a crime of passion? Are you reading the energy? It wasn't a crime of passion. I'm reading the energy. It's a false statement. These and such cases, whether it's a missing child, and whether they're decapitated bodies, or whether they're droplets of clothing that are left on the side of the street because a woman has just been taken out of nowhere. What is the value of divine feminine on this planet? And who are you? Did you know that your last timeline you were a woman? And what have you come here to acknowledge and to accept and to bring into your wholeness? Do you know that you're here to help represent 51% of your aura and your energy, which is divine feminine? 50-50 is divine feminine, 50-50 is divine masculine. But 51% of your energies that you have to transmute is within your energy field right now. That's up to you to transmute with higher consciousness. How are you going to get to higher consciousness if you're out targeting people and bullying them and stalking them and spying on them and surveillancing them until they have no sense of safety left within their bodies at all? And because their social societies are corrupt, and because the judges and the police and the insurance people and the lawyers and the judges and all the investigators are being paid to look the other way, and they're being paid to falsify documents, they're being paid to falsify POAs, they're being falsified to do this, to do that, so that these corrupt Masons that think they're ranked, but they're not, they're mentally incapable right now of making their own decisions. Some of these people in these cults and covens that have been practicing decades of black magic and decades of necromancy and decades of conjuring energies and entities, I guarantee you, if you were to give them assessments right now, is there a number, Spirit? Over 68% of them would be found to have mental disturbances, and they're growing by the day. Because of the energies they are conjuring, intending, and directing into their bodily functions. There's no natural flow in their brain or their synapses. There's no natural flow within their chakras or their blood. They're doing everything on the negative, dark side to put things into their blood, to put things into their body, to put energies and essences and magnetics in their body that is not their magnetics. Do you understand, dear lighted ones, that every child and every human has a different vibration and vibrational makeup and percentage makeup of their DNA as to how much they're hybrid and where they're from? And then you think that eating animals and eating people is okay, with a different magnetic, different structure DNA, different structure of its genetics. And you think that's okay. There's beliefs out there, I've heard it, there's beliefs out there that think you're going to take on the energy of the person, you're going to take on the power if you eat that animal or that lion or that this or that. We have done shamanic ceremonies where we think about the animals and we offer it our respect. We don't suck the energy and harvest the energy out of the animal. You're misunderstanding what you're doing in these rituals. This has been shown to me when there were certain things that occurred And there were certain unfortunate incidences that had occurred by people incorrectly using rituals in front of people and in front of fans. When you're thinking you're doing a ritual to use energy or abuse energy, what is the abuse of energy? It means you're intentionally, this is intention, direction and focus. That's how you create an outcome. It's quantumly true and correct quantumly. When you direct and you intend and you focus your energy, that's how you create an outcome. And if you're going against the natural order, you will have certain beings step in of the higher orders like myself and God and all of the beings and all the celestials and all the angels and all the ancestors step in and say, wait, buddy, pal, sister, that ain't your job, that ain't your right. You can't do that. You've been told before, no, 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 no. There's a part that, yes, certain lessons are meant to be learned, but you can't just keep stepping on higher order and higher order laws, crossing spiritual boundaries, crossing human boundaries, crossing constitutional rights, crossing human rights, concentrating all these things that one's cross in these degrading things and experiences, which are done every day. And this is the level of consciousness we have to step beyond because it's asleep to it. I'm trying to wake you up, people, to the divine soul of who you are. These things occur every day, and with direction, intention, and focus, there have been people get on stage and intentionally misuse and abuse the energy of those before them. I called it abuse. Why have I called it abuse? Because they've chosen to use it selfishly for their own gain, which is similar to the energy of the girl that was on the news yesterday. Those energies are very similar. So that means that behind that, this is how I read energy, so that behind that, there's a similar story there. There's a similar belief system. There's a similar thread. What is it? This is how we have to piece back together humanity. We have to reconnect the dots. Psychiatry, psychology, Interpol investigations, every investigator that absolutely stands for the truth of the truth and absolutely you're on the right action of law. You actually want the justice to be done. You actually want to hear the innocent. You actually want to come through and have some sort of right action on my behalf of my life, of the 50 years that have been nothing but fabrication of stories and lies, so that other people can live in their shadows. How's that okay? So that's okay that I got to live in your shadow because you want me to believe your shadow and you want me to be a character in your story. And I'm saying, no, I don't want to be a fucking character in your story. I'm the character in my story. I don't like your story. I'm not going to be your fucking slave. No, I get to write my story. I'm reclaiming my power. I'm reclaiming my light. I'm going to work with my light now because somebody's finally showing me how to be a good role model for me. I'm not going to be your slave. I'm not going to be your little token that you're going to handle and pass back and forth and sell back and forth here, here, and here. Who says that's a way of life? If you're open and you're honest with people and they want to play that sort of life, fine. But no, everything's done under the shadow. Everything's done in the shadowy this and the shadowy that and the secret this and the hiding of that, so that the people that are even your victims don't even know until they've lived a life filled with nothing except being your slave and being your harvesting agent so that you can go and party and go on 6 trips a year. Meanwhile, I'm sitting fucking homeless. Okay, well, that's a good character to play. I'm saying no. I don't think so. Fuck off. I get to say who I'm going to be. I get to align with my highest light because God will always give me my highest blueprint. No other person on this planet has a higher version of you than you and Source Creator. Pay attention to your blueprint. Who are you? Nobody ever should be answering any of these questions but you. Do your path work. Do your work, people. Get healed. Don't ever give your power, your life story, your soul's blueprint to anybody. It doesn't matter if they say, oh, I'm the best talent agent in all of the world. And this is what you can be if you give your little ritual. If we take you here and we do a ritual for you and you take your pants off and then we do this to you. And then we're going to give you a drug and we're going to do this to you. And then that's going to mean you're really, really important and we're going to do this for you. And you're going to do an initiation. You're going to come and visit our group and you're going to be a part of this, this, and this. No, I don't want your story. I have great talent with or without you, period. My story is going to be something different. Why? Well, because, I don't know, I see about 3 or 4 timelines above you and beyond you, and this is my job here. I'm here to activate something profound. And there ain't nothing profound by somebody putting their finger up my ass. Thank you, but no. And giving me a drug beforehand so you can say whatever you want in your little ritual. That's for you. It's not for me. No, because you're actually using my energy and you're harvesting my energy. No, thank you. See, there's a lot of things going on our planet that are just misguided and wrong. And every time somebody uses them and hears it secondhand, and then you have one person from this cult and one person from that cult and an industry and a talent. How is that talent agency? How is that a talent agency? No, you're hiding it. It's corruption because you're wearing a mask saying that you're a talent agency, but you're really not. You're using and abusing energy. And these things have been seen in entertainment world. They've been seen in the industry. Why has it been called an industry? How is arts and crafts, how is the art of God, how is the expression of God known in industry? You're actually selling the craft of God as an industry. How is that a thing? Is that okay for everybody? Is that where everybody wants to sit in the vibration? Doesn't it feel kind of icky? Ugh, doesn't it feel icky? So how all of a sudden did you get that craft of who you are to be sold as something icky and brought into something that's icky? And most people don't even want to talk about it. So then how are you so proud of it then? Has to be healed, people. Has to be healed. Has to be healed. If you don't want to talk about it, if you're hiding it and suppressing it, then you haven't healed it. You haven't integrated it. It's still a fragment. So now it's time to 3A it so that you can 4A it and alchemize it. You are misguided by misguided people. And that's okay. So we're going to do a healing right now. Straighten your backs, dear lighted ones. We want you to be integrated. We want you to put back together. We want you to put back together the all that you are. We want you to be whole again. Because nobody has the right to misguide you. Nobody has the right to give you wrong information. And no church has its right to put a sign on the door in one way and then do energy abuses around the corner in its hallways as people are giving their money to your patron box. And this is why the churches will come down, because their foundations and their legacies are corrupt. And it should, and it will. And we will be the ones that will bring it down. And you'll bring it down by being what? Higher order. You're not going to bring it down by protesting or fighting or throwing fires or bombs at anything. You're just equaling those low vibrational energies. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So Spirit agreed with that one. Did you see that beautiful light? Did anybody see that light, or was that just me? That was a huge ball of light. Thank you, Spirit. That's not how we become higher order. I've got goosebumps everywhere. Many of you that are listening right now in Future Now Moments, many of you are going to be the ones that will be on the ground, walking amongst the people and offering higher consciousness, higher order experiences. Just through your own experiences. I've been through that. That was my experience. I was actually in one of those rituals, and that's what happened to me. But this is actually what's true. Can you seek within? Can you seek the guidance within you? Can you seek the higher self within you? Can you seek all the beings and the guides that are with you in every moment so that you can seek a higher understanding? Don't ever give your power and your trust away to somebody that doesn't know. Why would you give all of your power and your trust to somebody? Why would you give that part of your soul to somebody that's broken? If it's hiding and it's in secret, and these people are doing things behind the back 40, and you got to take a special drug to get in, and you're going down in the basement, you're going down here, and you're going down there, and only a secret password to get in. That's what you're giving your power to. Isn't that a clue? Isn't that an indication that maybe you shouldn't be there? Higher order divine. I'm walking everywhere with this. I'm divine. I'm higher order. I want everybody to know. I got nothing to hide. I spoke truth right from day one. Go to my very first video and watch every single one of my videos. Watch every single one of my videos. Go watch my videos. Go watch my podcasts. Listen to them. I'm the same soul. I'm the same soul. I'm more expanded. I'm more compassionate. I'm more aware. I'm more healed. I'm more honorable. I'm the same transparent. I'm the same vulnerable. I'm the same slightly naive, but I'm more wise and I'm more powerful and I'm more profound. And God brought me through it. I have higher wisdoms. I have higher knowing. I've always been this way. I'm not gonna hide. I'm not gonna be small for other people's comfort level. I'm meant to be a profound leader on this planet, and I'm a great fucking healer because I know what I know. I've been here about 1,000 times. I'm probably gonna come back a few more, just to make sure that Gaia is where Gaia can be in her 5th dimensional bedding in the galaxy. That's my job, that's my role. And I belong to the multiverse, and I'm gonna come back as many times as God wants me. I'm here to trigger those that have low vibrational beliefs so that you look at who you are. You look at what you exist within, and you look at really what's going on within you and be honest. Because hiding and living in secrecy and living in the darkness, and to say that you love hell so much is really great. But how do you love the light? How do you love being love? Because that's where the connection is. There's no connection in hell. That's why it's called hell. There's no connection in hell. You're just looking at each other being equally hellish. Okay, so then what? That's your bragging point? Okay, so you've owned it. Well, that's good. You've accepted it. That's good. So now what? Are you going to stay in hell? Is that where you're going to stay? Is that your legacy? Good for you. You love hell? Okay, so then what? Is that what you're connected to? Okay, so then what? What does that make you? Okay, then what? There's no creativity there, is there? No, because you're not connected. Creativity is connection to the all. Creativity is connection to the all. You have connection to the all. You're fully integrated. You're the full dodecahedron. That's why when you're connected and you are healed, you can pull from any experience, and I can sit on stage and talk about any dodecahedron aspect because I'm connected. Connection is where it is residing. And anybody that is talking you out of connection, anybody that is deconstructing you, anybody that's telling you something and something and something and something to take apart, decapitate, go eat, go do this and go do that, and then glorify it, you should be running the other way, dear lighted ones. And if not, then you probably have a few entities already inside your body that just want to be demonic, and you're not healed to begin with. And so start there. Everything we're offering you is a truth of higher order. You either have entities floating around in you that want to be demonic that you're not healed. So you need to deal with those entities that are wanting you to be demonic. Because you've offered those entities into you by the necromancy or the conjuring or whatever else you've thought you've done that's given to give you power. And it's showing you right now that you don't have power. Because those with entity attachments and those that have done what they have done, who are they going to go to seek healing? Who are the only people on the planet that these beings in these Masonic groups and these distorted, these distorted experiences on earth of divine masculine and divine feminine when they're not doing the healing, and they have done such things as decapitating a human body, cannibalism, eating them, or doing any harvesting or sacrificing in any way, whether it's human hunting, human experimenting, human MK Ultra, whatever these deplorable, degrading human experiences are. Who are the only people that will heal these people? If these people within their soul, and it is their blueprint to heal the degradation and what has been done in the most evil of ways, who are the only people that will heal these people? Do you think Big Pharma is going to heal these people? Do you think that a lobotomy is going to heal these people? Do you think that the electromagnetics of the electrodes going through the brain are going to heal these people? I've brought everybody to a new level of triggering and awareness. And this is going to level each and every one of you up if you so wish, to listen to this podcast again and again. I think that what I've just said will level all these people up and heal these people. What will heal these people? These so-called powerful people that have done what they have done and taken innocent life, and they have now deconstructed their soul's vibration of how it spins in the universe. Do you think these people are powerful? You got your triangle. Would you like to pull some cards? Some of the people that have done such the egregious will not choose to be healed because they don't want to face who they are and what they have done, because they're very wounded and they're distorted and they've been disconnected from their spirit and their heart space. People that do these things have absolutely closed heart spaces because they are wounded and they are disconnected and they've been entrained that way. And they've been wounded themselves and they've chosen not to heal. There are those that will choose to heal. And we're asking the Masons and we're asking all of the people of the billion-dollar businesses, because you know you own and you and I'm saying, if these are your beliefs, who are the only people that can heal you? Do you think Big Pharma is going to come along and give you higher consciousness teachings? Do you think the Big Pharma is going to give you light intelligence? Do you think the leaders of these worlds, as we see right now, as they state right now, do you think the leaders of the world have light intelligence to teach you? Have they come forward with the teachers of light intelligence for you yet? Have they wanted to provide the highest healing for their people? Who are the people that will heal these people from trafficking, that have to come up and will be healed? Who's going to heal these children of such demonic entities? Because you might think that you've given them a few medicines to heal their bodies. These children that are going to be coming up from trafficking, and these adults that have been survivors, these are the most bravest, courageous, strongest people that you will ever meet on the planet, and they're far stronger than the ones that have abused them. I'll give you that times 1 billion-fold. And they will be some of the best healers on this planet. That's my prediction. As we move higher in light, dear lighted ones, there is a higher order of law. Universal rights is, and it will trump every single one of your human laws. I can read energy, and the energy of every story going into the courtroom will be absolutely felt right here and right now, and court decisions will be made alongside energy and physical evidence. Because it is, energy is everything. Energy makes up. So new laws will have to be made to take everything into consideration. Higher vibrational readers, higher vibrational investigators, let's get busy, because we've got lots of stuff to do here, and we're going to rewrite this world. We will build bridges to the lower vibrational beliefs that anybody thinks anything of sacrificing, whether it's cutting off a clitoris, whether it's sterilizing a woman, whether it's taking divine feminine and children off this world so people can fulfill their satanic, disgusting experiences in the underground, because that's why they stay hidden. It's not powerful. It's not almighty, and it ain't higher order, and you will never be ranked. If you want to be ranked in hell, then fine, so be it, stay in hell. But you don't have the right to enforce anything on anybody and take somebody's destiny from them when they've said no. If they say it's time to go, it's time to fucking go. Get them back in the car and let them go. And who are you to say that anybody is going to come with you in your journey and be the character in your story? No. Write your own story with your own character that is you. You be the character. Domination and breaking and having people submit under you, dear lighted ones, is not a sign of power. It's ignorance. So get your beliefs and get your words and your terminology. Look these words up. Look them up. And if you want to play those games, then you absolutely talk about people in this role playing with me. How about we play it and we set some boundaries so that we're both safe and we're both honored? How about you do that? If you want to play with BDSM and all those types of things, then play with it in an open, honoring way. You don't lure children and innocent victims and naive people or people that are on the street or people that see this and that. It doesn't give you free range, people, just because somebody's on the street or just because someone seems to be by themselves or lonely. It doesn't give you free range to play animal. Governments of shadow, human experimenting and human agendas. It's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. And I will see you in criminal court. And I will run circles around you. I will run circles around every person that has been taken off this planet because of such low vibrational beliefs. We will go into 5D. We will rewrite the laws. We will ensure that every child is heard. We will ensure every divine feminine is heard. And we will ensure that we will rewrite the terminology and we will write the definitions and the dictionary meanings of power. Because it ain't what we have seen. It's ignorance. And there's a difference. When you are aligned, you are truly intelligent and truly powerful, because you will never hurt anything or take anything from anyone that is not given. Period. That's higher intelligence, that's ranking. And when you move through life without touching or harming a thing, and yet you're the most abundant person on the planet, that's fucking powerful. The math. Our first card, dear lighted ones. Ooh, the Chariot. Isn't that the way? That's the Merkaba. That's what we're talking about. When you're in complete balance, that's the Merkaba. When you are in complete balance, that is moving forward. That is the universal. That is the, that's our heavenly, that's our number one on the triangle, right? It's the heaven's message for you today. We have to get going here. That's the heavenly message for today, is the Chariot. Isn't that beautiful? So what energies are coming out, what things are standing out to you? And this one literally jumped out. So that means there's going to be some movement because we've come into a new balance, right? Do your ascension path work every day so you can get in greater balance. When you're in balance, the universe is going to say, great, they've managed it. They've managed the people poking at them. They can still come out and be calm and be peaceful. You're a peaceable person. Those that are peaceable, those that have higher order, those that have the answers, those that want to help, those will be the people that will be lifted. Those will be the people that will be higher order. The people always creating chaos on the bottom, you're not going to be higher order. Because there's no balance in you. There's just chaos. And this one, there's a lot of demonic energies. Demonic energies are chaotic. Devil energies are chaotic. They They operate in deflection, they operate in projection, they operate in lies, they operate in confusion, they operate in making messes. That is devil energy. That's wounding. That's distortions. We need higher vibrational investigators on this planet. How can we move forward with the chariot in higher vibrational investigations so that things like people showing up decapitated in cars is not okay? It's not okay on any level, and it's not a sign of power on any level. Secret cults and covens and societies, if you're hiding in secret, you have to ask yourself, is this intelligent or is it ignorant? I want everybody to face and absolutely be a part of creating New Earth. How can you create New Earth? Will you be a part of creating similitude and union? No more protesting, we're creating higher resolve. No more hiding, we're going to come out and face it. The ones that can make the biggest difference are the ones that have been there. So absolutely, you have been there. You have been a part of the cults and covens, so make a difference because you can. Who are you? And you know within your heart when you're ready to align with 5D. That's why Source has placed me before you. Because your souls have a bigger project to play. And it's not in hell. That is a choice as well, and there's no judgment from Source. But there are some of you that have a bigger part to play in creation. Who are you? Do you see the sun behind the chariot? Isn't God beautiful? That's our second card. Thank you for joining me today. So anybody would like to make a donation? I have a new laptop that I have to get because my other one got stolen. Well, it was time it got stolen. It was really old. It's taking forever to work. So our number 2 card is we're going to have a chariot and then the 2 of cups. I think that's a 2 of cups. Yep, 2 of cups. And then the Knight of Swords. Ooh, the Knight of Swords is very fast. What's the Knight of Swords so fast for? Okay. So write down your cards. What are the energies? These are some powerful cards. This is for the weekend. This is for today and tomorrow. What do you see? What's standing out at you? Knight of Swords is all about very fast pace. It is the fastest knight in the archetypes. It has its places where it wants to go and how it wants to be seen and how it wants to be. It's one of those ones that wants to show up and be seen and known at all times. This is the Knight of Swords. Yes, sometimes it comes in a bang. Sometimes it knocks some things over. It's got some things to say and do and be. And this is from Gaia. So Gaia is going to be making some waves, if you will, because Gaia has some things to say about what's been going on in her planet and where the balances are and where the misbalances are. So sometimes we're going to see these things unfold, and it must. Because sometimes we do need a shake-up to say, what have we been doing? Okay, this is not okay. Are we willing to lose our homes and our families and our health for these things called secret societies and little things we don't need? If you're going to have your group of prayer and honoring, then have it a prayer and honoring. You don't need to hide. You're going to be given the sacred high priestess wisdoms in your high priestess times only through your higher self and your guides. No community or cult or coven is going to give you your high priestess wisdoms. There just isn't. You're meant to be with people to learn things, not to be held in secret. Not to be saying, well, I'm the only one with the secret information. God gives you that. I'm a high priestess and I'm an empress. God gives me that. I don't walk around saying, I'm a high priestess. I'm going to join your secret cult and coven. Can I be your high priestess? Those are ego. I've got no ego. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything to me. No, I'm ranked with God. That's all I care about. And people know I'm a high priestess because of what's coming back to you. So God proves it. I don't. I'm just giving you the information. This is my truth. If you keep fucking with me, that's going to happen. And it has. Okay, so now deal with your karma. I'm not your problem. You are. You're just not healing your issues. I'm coming saying you got a problem. You need to go and heal your issues. So go heal it. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you what's coming for Earth here. You can listen or not listen. I don't care. I don't care if I'm not here for your beliefs. I'm here to inspire you to have better beliefs. So again, the collective card is 2 of Cups. So we're coming into a new marriage with the collective. I'm so happy about that. We're coming into a new collective. It's going to be love. Our collective is raising its consciousness to love. And it's going to be brought in with a bang. So that means there's going to be some really profound collective messages. Because that's the Page of Knights, right? The Page of Swords. That means they're going to come in fast and furious. right? The collective needs to hear some messages. And some of the things that are coming out, that's what it feels like to me, because it doesn't need to be this way. It can just be safe and soft. We've been talking about these same things for go back to my videos, for 3 or 4 years now. Mind scraping is not an okay thing. And who says any of that is okay? Any agenda with things like mind scraping and mind manipulation and mind control and brainwashing, none of it's okay, people. It's not okay. And you know that it's been done. You absolutely know that it's been done. So any government, whether you're doing baby farms and then you're going to try and mind manipulate and you're going to try and project your perfection of advanced humans in, you're going to push and you're going to project and you're going to go against the natural orders of law. Well, maybe that being didn't want that. Do you ever get that? Maybe that being doesn't want to be a part of that story. Maybe that being has a whole set of destiny that you don't even know about because you're only a 3D human that only wants your way because you're stuck in control and fear. Anything you put in front of me, we can go over it and we can go around about it 100 times and you will awaken. Because what's been going on the planet is not okay, it's ignorance. And we're going to change it, we're going to heal it. Because we're higher vibrational, we are higher intelligent, and this is our destiny. We care about the people that are taken out every day. We care about the children that are abused, that are going to have years and years and years of healing ahead of them. It's not necessary for them to be this damaged. It's not okay. They are bought and sold every day. Will you be a part of this healing? And take a deep breath. Will you be a part of unity consciousness on 5D Earth? If you've lasted throughout this entire phone call, if you've lasted throughout this entire radio show and video, will you seek Source Creator and will you be a part of 5D Earth? Will you be a part of 5D Earth, dear lighted ones? Yes or no? Say it out loud so your cells can hear you. Do you wish light and do you wish Mother, Father, God, and Spirit and the Spirit of Essence and the Quickener to quicken your life? Yes or no? Yes, I'm asking and I'm opening and I'm surrendering to Spirit to quickeneth my life, mind, body, heart, and soul, so that I may be healed within my chakras, so that I may call light in and I may learn how to work with my body and my chakras and be open to wise wisdom every day, to love and light that heals me every day, to my systems of love and light and my celestials and my aliens and all the planets that I belong with, because I know my soul is vast. My soul is wide. I belong to infinite dimensions and infinite realities and infinite realms. I am that I am, one as the Source. And Source will activate me and my DNA will be activated. My blood is new, my cells are new, my skin is new. All that I am is new, and I am healthy and I am youthful. I am eternal life. Isn't that a powerful affirmation? I am eternal life. I am eternal life. I am eternal life. I come into greater awareness and forgiveness every day. I choose to be a part of positive resolve. I choose to see my collective as mirrored experiences and reflections for healing and oneness. I bow in great presence to the Mother and the Father and all that is Spirit. I pray to all the galactic federations that keep us peaceful and safe. As we align to our highest perspective, as we align to the highest blueprint of who we are, there is always higher order. There is always a grander umbrella, for we are just beginning this journey, dear lighted ones. And this is just the tip of the iceberg as how miraculous and majestic we are, life is, creation is. In all that we are, may every human be peaceful in knowing that we are one. May every child know that we will absolutely, in all that we can, protect life at all costs, which means protect our children at all costs. They are important and they are sacred. Whoever said they weren't. Speak up about what's going on in your communities, dear lighted ones, and be the voice of your spirit and soul. The only way forward is truth. The only way forward is making right and clearing your conscience and your consciousness to raise to its new level of beingness, in light and in love. All that is Source Creator is all life, is all quantumness. It's the omnipresent field that you see and don't see. It is all thing that is matter and not matter. God is all creation, dear lighted ones. How did you think God was not separate and far away from you and not making of life right now in this moment right with you? And ask to feel Source Creator within your heart. Take a deep breath. I feel Source within me. I feel Source within me. I feel Source within me. I feel light within me. I feel Spirit within me. I feel Spirit within me. Take a deep breath. I harmonize my heart, mind, body, and soul, and all of my souls, and all of my integration, and all of my light, and all of my wisdoms, and all of my energy return back to me now.